Hey, this is Angela coming to you from the garage in the studio. Our cat Bonzo seems to be tweaking out right now over something. He's meowing up a storm. The purpose of this video is to kind of explain a little bit of what I want to do, even though publishers have told me in the past, the poetry book that you want to assemble is something that probably needs to come later on down the line after you've established yourself as an artist and you're a household name and all that. But it's one of the only things that I have that I can arrange myself and put into a package and have it published however much I want to spend, how many copies of a book, or how I can get all of this stuff circulated is clearly going to be an act of God. I've done a lot of soul searching in the last month and a half, 2 months, about, what is it that you are capable of doing on your own with really low overhead and all that. So I wrote about 30 to 35 poems over the last couple years. I have about 25, 28 of them all laid out. What I have to do and what I want to do is come up with I can do it one of two ways. I can either write my memoir and incorporate the poetry, or write a poetry book and incorporate the memoir. There's a couple different ways that I can do this, but all of these individual poems come together like a puzzle to tell a story, kind of chronologically, but not so much. And the spectrum of writings vary drastically from everything from a heartbreak, those things that people write poetry about. There's a lot of poems when I went through my prophetic phase of angels and God and being oppressed in a society as an angelic messenger, and kind of being bullied, and here's what you did to this person and now here's the consequence, or this is what's going to befall on you, kind of Jeremiah-ish, and there's other poems that are beautiful that tell the story of fairy tale weddings and perfect dreams and all of that. So it's kind of come down to, okay, well, which poems, how are you going to assemble this? How is this going to kind of flow in a way that tells, I started off here and now I'm here, and here's the peaks and the valleys and the whole Robert Frost, I took the road less traveled. The thing with me is that when you choose to do what I'm doing, it's kind of like people that don't really have a voice that can sing really, really well, or have never really learned instrumentation. There's, I think, people that are born lyricists. And that's what I consider myself, a writer of poetry, which is a great outlet for anybody to do. And it's simple. All you need is your brain, your heart, your spirit, a piece of paper, and some, a pencil or a pen, an opportunity. And I think a lot of times I kind of compare myself to this not little, but an Eminem character. Opens the mouth and it just starts squawking, and I can throw down some dope beats and rhymes and stuff, but these poems are all really individually, they stand on their own, but collectively they're going to be able to explain what my life, was at a certain point before God intervened and changed everything, and the suffering that I went through. And I think that it's, really great that God has given us words to be able to so many people are just terrified of the blank page. They can't get past the blank page. And for me, I love it because I get to start anew. I get to start fresh. When I bust out a poem, sometimes I do it in 7 minutes. Sometimes I come back to it a little bit, but most of the time, when I sit down and someone gives me a subject matter, or I think of something I want to address, it's just there. And that's when you know that it's God-breathed. That's when you know you're dealing with, this is a message from God. He's using me as a vessel, yada, yada, yada. So yeah, I'd love to start a band called Shards of Glass. And I would love for all of these poems to become songs that are on my soundtrack for thinking while smoking. So maybe I am doing things a little bit out of order. But at this point in time, knowing what I know about Facebook and the fact that it's superficial in a lot of ways, and I've been on it for 4 years, and I'm just coming to a point where I'm starting to meet a couple of people that might be able to help me or point me in the right direction as far as getting Thinking While Smoking finished. In the meantime, I have all of this poetry, and I have numerous ways that I've shared it. Some people have taken my Perfect Dreams poem, which is the most popular poem that I've written so far. It's the only one that I have memorized, and and what I was going through at that time was very beautiful and tragic. And I think that that's what makes a good movie. The ability to tell a story, to get somebody laughing so hysterically in one moment, and then taking that away, and leaving them with tears, and then filling them back up with joy. That's the bipolarity ride. And it's like a roller coaster. And some people don't like roller coasters. For some people, it's just not their cup of tea. They like things consistent and boring and drab, and that's how they choose to exist. And then there are people like myself who are true artists who come into this world for however long we do and leave the legacy that we do, however big or small it is. So what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to grab a poem, I'm going to read it, and I'm going to try to put this together such that I'll have a finished product. It's really hard when you're looking at all these pieces and you're just like, oh my gosh, it's just like somebody opens up a huge bag of Skittles and just drops it onto a floor and they all go flying everywhere, and you're supposed to separate the reds from the orange and the yellow and the green and do the rainbow thing, and you have so many broken little pieces everywhere. It takes time. But I've waited this long, and a lot of people have said to me, gosh, Angela, why hasn't Ellen DeGeneres and Shutterfly helped you out? You deserve it. You deserve some 10 grand. You deserve a new car. Well, for whatever reason, there's other people that, are on their hearts that they feel that they want to help. And I think my friend wrote in one time to Ellen DeGeneres about a new car, and it'll probably never materialize because my life was not designed after God intervened in 2004 and asked me what I wanted to know, if I wanted to know what it was like for Jesus Christ to live and die. And that started me on an obstacle course that has required perseverance and endurance, that has killed my body in so many ways, that has messed with me psychologically, but not to the point where I can't bounce back. And at some point, I think that I will win an award, even if it's just a messenger award that I'm creating right now. So hopefully the messenger award will become as prominent as the Academy Awards or a Pulitzer Prize or whatever. It's, I already designed the trophy, and it's all about one thing. What message was it that you gave that was so monumental that it either moved people to tears or brought people to their feet or inspired them to change their life? And I think shows like The Biggest Loser and the American Ninja Challenge and all these things that people do, there's so much good in the world, and I hate to see it be overshadowed by people who want to stomp out light. Because Jesus is the truth and the way and the light of this world, the Alpha, the Omega, the A to Z, the only way definitively that you're going to get through that gate into the paradise that I saw in my coma. And I only saw a fraction. So anyway, that's the journey that I'm about to embark on with these poems. Prayers are always welcome. And remember, wherever you go, there you are.